Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live learning. My name's Heather Murdoch, and I'm looking forward to answering all your questions today. So if you haven't been on one of these live sessions before, I just wanted to explain how it all works. So whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, if you take a look at the platform you're on, you'll see that there's a comment section. You can put all your questions in there and they'll drop through to me on a second screen that I have. I'll be able to see them and then answer those for you. As much as possible, I try and answer the questions for you live so that you have the answers today. Where I'm not able to give you that information, either because it's not my speciality area or we need additional information from you that's best given to us through a private ticket or through community where we can keep your account secure, I'll make sure that you have that next step available to you so that you know where to go. I put 30 minutes aside Tuesdays at 12 o'clock and then also Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on British Standard Time for the 30-minute session today on Tuesdays, and the same with the hour session on Wednesdays. I do finish them early if no questions come through, and that just enables me to reply to people in community or get back to people on tickets as well. So do send your questions over just as soon as you can, and please remember that no question is silly or too small. That's what I'm here for, is to answer any and all questions that you have, either about Ezoic, the tools within your site, the wider publishing space, also your data as well. Okay, so while we're waiting for the first questions to come in, I just wanted to talk you through some upcoming sessions that we have. So as well as the sessions tomorrow at 9 a.m. British Standard Time, we also have a Q&A on the 17th of April, which is a beginner's guide to SEO. So this is going to be a really very basic guide to start helping you understand more about SEO and then using that as a building block to build on. We're also going to talk through Ezoic's tools as well and how you can use Ezoic's tools to help speed up the SEO process. With that, we'll be going through a few slides and then also giving you the opportunity to ask questions. There'll be a number of these coming up where we build one on top of each other so that you're able to build up your knowledge around SEO. It really is very much a beginner's guide at this stage. So if it's something, SEO is something that you've been doing for a while or that you feel sort of pretty confident in, do watch this space. We'll be doing more advanced guides later on in the year. And then also on the 26th of April is the Q&A for the Google Ad Manager MCM. So if you're struggling to get any of your sites approved by Google Ad Manager MCM, do come along to that session. We'll be looking for sites that are happy for us to show them live on screen so that we can walk through the areas where we're finding that you might want to improve on, as well as taking you through general slides and answering general questions as well. So we've got our first question come in. Thank you so much. This is from Sharma Consultancy. Welcome today, Sharma. And the question is, how much time do I have to connect Ezoic with AdSense? So in terms of the mediation, there's no time limit in terms of when you can connect the Google AdSense mediation in your Ezoic dashboard. You can do that on the first day that you are approved with Ezoic, or you can do it months later, whichever's most convenient for you. We would definitely recommend doing it as quickly as you can, and we know how busy you are, so do understand that sometimes these things can take a little bit of time. And the reason for that is that with mediation, it helps to reassure you that you're not leaving any revenue on the table, and it puts Google in the position where it has to outbid itself and everyone else to put ads on your site. And in terms of ad rates, competition is a good, healthy thing because it can drive up the value of those ad spaces. So Sharma Consultancy has said, my Ezoic account has a website which is continuously rejected since my 5 months from Google AdSense. How much time I have to get it approved? Is this Google AdSense that you're getting rejected from, or Google Ad Manager MCM, Sharma? Okay, just while we're waiting for Sharma to reply, I'll just take you through the Ezoic blog. So I do like to talk you through folks through the Ezoic blogs, just because of the wealth of information that is on there. You can also sign up to our newsletter as well. Again, to save you some time, those articles will then drop into your inbox, so that when you've got 5 minutes, you can take a look at those, and then when you're next working on your site, put that information to good use, and update either your dashboard or update your content with those new learnings. So Sharma Consultancy has clarified, saying it's Google AdSense. Okay, so if your website has been rejected by Google AdSense, and it's been continuously rejected, it sounds like there's something within your site that Google is finding within it that goes against their Google AdSense policies. So what I would recommend doing as a next step is checking out Google's AdSense content policies. You can find that just by typing that into Google, reading through that and making any changes to that website before you next apply. Also, what I would recommend doing is taking a look at your Google AdSense account. You may find that there's notes in there from Google which explains why they're not able to accept their site onto Google AdSense. And that will then help guide you as to the next steps for you to take for that website. Not all websites can be monetized. Things like corporate websites can't be monetized, shops can't be monetized. There are ways where if you have a blog as part of that corporate site, or a blog as part of that shop, where it is possible to monetize it. But if it's just a site that is either a shop or, like I said, corporate site, then that site won't be able to be monetized either with Google AdSense or with Ezoic either. So just worth being mindful of that going forward. So Sharma Consultancy has said, thanks for helping. I appreciate it. No problem at all. You're so welcome. I love spending time with you folks on these live sessions. And so any questions that you have, please do let me know. Okay, so we're just waiting now for any more questions to come through. If anyone does have a question, please do let me know. As I mentioned at the start of this live session, I stay on the call for 30 minutes or for as long as questions come in, and this then just enables me to answer questions in community quicker, or get back to people on tickets as well. So just wanted to walk you folks through as well through the community here at Ezoic. So if you haven't come across this before, it's community.ezoic.com. Anyone who's part of the Ezoic platform can access it, ask questions, and then also read through the topics here. You can use the search bar at the top to type your question in terms of what you're looking for, and that will bring up different resources that you can then read through, such as articles that we as a team have written, or questions that other publishers have asked in the past. And this then enables you to be able to get instant answers that you can then work through and check through your site on. We do have a link here at the top, the Live Learning with Heather, where I put copies of these live learning sessions on. So if you are watching this on playback, and I know many people do, so thank you so much for doing that. If you think, oh, I really wish I was there and I could have asked that question, do let me know in this thread here, the Live Learning with Heather. I keep an eye on that quite closely, and will get back to you with any answers. Just to let you know, I work from Saturdays to Wednesdays, so if you don't hear from me on Thursdays and Fridays, it's because I'm out of the office, but will reply to you just as soon as I can. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions coming in, so thank you all so much. So Tuntun has said, how can I fix a site that's disapproved due to invalid clicks? So with this, Tuntun, is this disapproval come from Ezoic or AdSense? If it's come from AdSense, then the best thing to do is work with AdSense directly. They'll be able to support you with the next steps to take, get to get approved from them. If it's been disapproved by Ezoic, you should have received an email from us, and that will explain what you can do to be able to then get your site rechecked for being approved on Ezoic. If you're finding that you're not able to find that email, and don't worry, if your inbox is like my personal inbox, there's a lot of emails in there, so sometimes it's hard to find those things. Do reach out to us on community if you're an Access Now publisher, or if you're level 1 or higher, reach out to the publisher success team directly, and they'll be able to work with you to get you in touch with the right person to be able to work through that. Okay. So Matthew Zoto has said, is it a must to have the disclosure at the top of the ad unit? For this, no, you don't have to have the disclosure at the top of the ad unit. With the ad units, let me just see if I can find the right thing for you, Matthews. Bear with me. So if we go to the Ezoic ads, this is a dummy site that you have here, and click on the edit button. So in terms of the disclosure, you can choose to have it on, and if you do have that on, it has a drop down on there where it shows you different drop downs that you can use around sponsorship or advertisement. That's just to help enable you to sort of put a flag there so that your readers know that it is an advertisement, and that if they're clicking on that they will be taken to a website that's outside of yours, and that it is an advertisement. So just going back to Tantan's question about how to fix disapproved sites due to invalid clicks, one of the things that we would recommend if you are experiencing invalid clicks on your site and you are working with Ezoic, is to put that disclosure in place. That just helps you to notify your readers, like I say, that it is an advert. So it just makes it that little bit clearer. What can happen though is advertisers sometimes don't like that, so they may bid less to place ads on your site, or they may choose not to bid at all. So if you're not having any issues with invalid clicks, or are not seeing any issues with like high bounce rates for your site or anything like that, then we would recommend just to leave that off, unless you felt like you particularly wanted to have it on. Sometimes it's useful in certain positions of your site to have that disclosure on, as it just makes things clearer, but that's on an individual basis. So thank you for your question, Matthews. I hope that helps answer it, and thank you for joining us today. Okay. So our next question is from Sharma Consultancy, who asks, after approval from Ezoic, is there a traffic limit? Is there a minimum number of visits required to continue your Ezoic account? No, we have removed all traffic limits. I believe it was last summer, so bear with me in terms of my memory, but I think it was last summer, and so there's no limits on the site at all. The only real limit we have is around content policy, and also approval around Google AdSense MCM, and then also making sure that your site is in good standing with Google. So there's a couple of things there where we may say to you, unfortunately, we're not able to monetize that site for you, but they aren't connected to the volume of visits you have to your site. So I hope that helps. So Dal SAMP has said, I'm getting low EPMV. The average US dollar is $1.55. I have a lot of tier 1 traffic. The niche is gaming. Okay, with this, Daryl, there can be a number of different reasons why you're getting the lower EPMV. Sometimes it can be connected to niche, it can be connected to the type of traffic that's coming to your site. It can also very much be connected to the way your Ezoic dashboard is set up and the way your ad placeholders are set up. So what I would recommend doing, Daryl, to begin with is you can see on my screen here the website. This is one of our testing websites. If you're a Access Now publisher, you won't have this urgent issues impacting revenue button. If you're level 1 or higher, you will do. So if you have concerns around your EPMV and are seeing this, the first thing to do is click on that, and there will be a number of screens that open up. If I click on this, you'll be able to see that there's auto fix recommendations where you can click into the boxes and our team will be able to resolve that for you. It's done by AI, and then there'll also be manual fixes. So these are things that you either need to complete yourself or you can request assistance from an Ezoic team member where we can advise you on the steps to take to resolve that. What I'd also recommend doing, Daryl, to begin with is going to your levels. So depending on what level you're on will depend on the what the button's called there, but they're always in the same position. And then going to the scores button, and then what you can see here is that there's an overall score, and if you click on the drop downs you can then see how close your scores are to 100 out of 100. Ideally, you want to get to 100 out of 100 for everything, but equally, we do understand with some things you would prefer not to have them on your site, and that's absolutely fine. With Ezoic, you can tailor all our tools to work the way that you would like them. We only have a couple of tools that we ask that you do fill in, things like privacy and consent management, and that's because of the way Google views these sites, and also advertisers need this information as well before they can place ads on your site. Where you're seeing that you're not getting 100 out of 100, so in this instance, you can click on the box directly. It will show you why you're getting the score that you are across each different device type, and will then give you instructions on what to check and how to resolve that for you. So Daryl, what I would recommend doing is working through that. If you're finding once you've made those changes that your EPMV isn't changing the way you would like, if you're an Access Now publisher, do reach out to us in community, or if you're a level publisher, reach out directly to our publisher success team through your Ezoic dashboard, and we'll be happy to help further. Okay, so moving on to the next question from Sharma Consultancy, who said, after using Ezoic Leap, my website starts facing several errors like low JavaScript, low CSS, and manually cache clearing. Okay, so what I would recommend doing with this one, Sharma, is if you have access to our Leap team in your Ezoic dashboard, reach out directly to them and let them know the errors that you're seeing, and they'll be able to work with you to resolve this. If you don't have access to the team, reach out to either your business development specialist or straight through to us on community, and we can then take a look at your website and be able to advise you directly on the next steps to take. So YB Digital has said, hello Heather, can you answer a question about Ads TXT Manager? Added a manual entry for AdSense, but it doesn't appear 2 days later on final ads.txt, and thanks for walking through. No problem at all, I'm happy to help. In terms of the manual entry for AdSense, once it's added in on the ads.txt manager, it should pull through automatically onto the ads.txt. I don't believe the ads.txt is cached in any way, so there shouldn't be any caching errors. What I would recommend doing if you aren't seeing that entry added is just double check on your ads.txt manager that it is on there. and then go to either the community or if you're a level 1 publisher or higher, reach out to us via tickets. If you can send us the screen grab of what you're seeing, both in terms of what you've entered on the ads .txt manager, we can then take a look at your ads.txt on your site and work out what's happened there for you and advise on the next steps to take. Hafiz Rehan Madani has said, hello, will Google MCM approve domain without about us and contact us page on site? It's very unlikely to, Havaz. One of the things that Google is particularly keen on, and we've been able to see sites approved once they've done this, is having an about us, a contact us page, and a privacy policy page added directly to the main menu on their site. By adding it right to the main menu, it's really easy for Google's for Google's robots, to be able to crawl through and find those pages. And so it's really important to have both those pages on your site, as well as them to be added to the main menu of your site. I personally haven't seen any sites that have been approved without those pages being added. So definitely worth taking the extra time to get those set up before then reaching out to Google to be able to get those that site rechecked. Okay, so our next question is from Matthew Zoto, who said, in terms of placeholders, can you put the longest content instead of bottom of page at the bottom of the website, or the name of the placeholder and location doesn't matter? What I would recommend doing is, where possible, placing the ad placeholders in terms of their correct names in the correct positions. So for the bottom of the page, we would definitely recommend having it at the bottom of your website page. And for the top of page, definitely recommend having the top of page ad placeholder at the top. And similarly with under page title, under first paragraph, and under second paragraph. The reason for that is advertisers will actually pay more money to specifically target these ad placeholders. The research that they have done has shown that readers interact better with these advertisements in those particular positions. So you definitely want them as close as you can get to those positions. There are certain reasons why you may not want to have those particular ad types in those positions, for example, top of page or under a page title, depending on the theme and the layout of your site. By having those two placeholders in the correct position, it may mean that you don't have any content on your site when those particular ads are shown. Google doesn't see menus or titles as content. And so by moving those top of page, under page titles to further down your page, you're then ensuring that you're complying with Google AdSense policies, which is obviously the priority around having content and ads showing. And so by doing that, it's not a problem to move your top of the page ad placeholder, for example, to under page title, and then the under page title to under first paragraph to under second paragraph, for example. But what we would ask is to keep the correct order flow of those ad placeholders. It enables our system to work better, because obviously if you're saying top of the page, it's expecting it to be the first one on the website page, and it also enables the advertisers to ensure that they're bidding on the ad placeholder that they want. So yeah, where possible, Matthew Zoto, I would definitely recommend, instead of having longest content, having that bottom of the page ad placeholder on your site. Okay, so our next question is from Daryl. Daryl has said, there is another problem. I am Access Now publisher and was accepted on the 15th of March. I have 12,300 visitors in total and only made $18. Turning off mediation helped a little in raising the EPMV. With mediation, EPMV was even lower. Okay, what I would recommend doing, Daryl, is reaching out to our Access Now team so that they can have a detailed look at your site as well as your traffic. Without looking at your traffic and your site, it's difficult to understand what's happening at the moment. It could be that you've got a lot of restrictions on your site. It could be that you're getting quite a lot of traffic from, say, Facebook, which has traditionally a much lower EPMV. So I would definitely recommend reaching out to our team and we can take a look at that for you. In terms of the mediation, I would be careful about turning it off, even though you might feel that your EPMV has gone up by switching mediation off. It can be so many different factors that are impacting your EPMV that something else has happened or something else has changed, which has pushed the EPMV up. And in the meantime, you've lost out on mediation revenue. We always do emphasize the importance of having mediation on a site. It's something that does mean that you're getting much more competition on your website, and you're putting Google in a position where it has to outbid itself and everyone else to put ads on your site. There's no downsides from having mediation on your website in terms of revenue, because even though that revenue isn't paid out by Ezoic, you still get that revenue through Google AdSense. So please do reach out to us. There sounds like there's a lot that we can do to help you understand what's going on with your site, and we can talk you through that as part of community. So Haviz has said, Google low value content issue, MCM, what can I do? So what I would recommend doing, Haviz, is taking a look at our Ezoic support articles about the low value content and what the steps are to do that. I'll just get that article up for you now. Okay, so what I have done here, Haviz, is this anchor 3 on the article is showing you all the different reasons why a site could be disapproved for low value content. What I'll do is I'll pop it in the chat as well for you so that you can bookmark that and take a look at that later, but I'll run through it. We've just got a couple of minutes left, so I'll run through that so that you've got an overview of it. So the most important thing is to make sure your site is easily navigatable, and then also making sure that you've got the privacy policy, about us contact page, and about us page on your website. We do recommend checking to make sure that they're fully functioning, and as I mentioned earlier, with these 3 pages, I'd also recommend having them at the top of your website in that main menu. This will really help Google to find those pages and be able to sort of tick that off their checklist that they have. Here are examples of a bad menu, a better menu, and then also an ideal menu example. So it's worth cross-matching your website with this ideal example. And then make sure your content is well organized and categorized as well. Google is very much focused at the moment on making sure readers can easily navigate around your website and find the information that they're looking for, and then also that secondary information as well. So make sure things like your posts are split into categories, that your categories don't overlap, and you've only got one post in the category, so you haven't got a post that's split across 2 categories. Make sure that your posts are relevant to that category. So for example, a site about tennis should not contain a post or a category about pets, for example, and you need to have at least 6 posts per category as well. It's really important to make sure you don't have a general, random, or other category on the site. This will mean that Google is very much likely to say that your site is low value content and won't approve it. And then make sure you're also checking the quality of your content as well. So things like post length, making sure the majority of your posts need to be 500 words or more. Make sure your content isn't thin or scraped in any way. We've put some articles in there which Google has defined what they mean by scraped or thin content, and make sure that there's no issues with image serving on your site. You also want to make sure that the images are either original or that are under a Creative Commons license, so that you're putting images on there that you have the right to share. Google will see images that have been sort of copied and pasted from other websites also as duplicate content, as scraped content, and so won't approve your website for that reason. So Hafiz has said, I can add pages to the top menu, but it can show low value issue. I see. So if you've already added those particular pages in and you're still getting the error message around the low value issue, then what I would recommend doing is checking through the other things that we've talked about here. So making sure that your website menu is set up correctly, making sure your content is well organized, and then also around content, check your post length, check that there's no thin or scraped content in there, and check that your image serving is serving well, and that there are no images that have been scraped on there as well. Once you've checked through all that, do request another check from Google, and they'll be able to then take a look at your site and see what they think from there. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I do appreciate you being on this call and asking me all the questions that you have. If you think, oh, I really wish I'd asked that question today, I'm back tomorrow at 9 a.m. British Standard Time, and I look forward to spending more time with you then. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.